right. So yeah, you caught the case in April 2011. How long were you fighting the case? Like up until your sentencing?
Till October.
October.
Yeah, me and Doc. While you speaking on Doc, that was my co-defendant.
Okay.
Yeah, so we went all the way to trial. Ended up getting found guilty on all counts. Well, not all counts, 2 counts. Possession of heroin, possession of cocaine.
Okay. And there's also another significance about this prison bid, this specific prison bid, because this is also the most time you ever received, right?
Yeah.
So when you got sentenced, what was like when you heard you got sentenced to 6 or 7 years? Which one?
7.
7?
I got 7. Doc got 6.
You got 7. Doc got 6. Okay. So when the judge sentenced you guys, and you hear that you have over a half a decade in prison, what was like? How did you feel in that moment?
Let's go to appeal court.
Right.
That's how I was feeling. It was like, man, let's go to appeal court. So, once you dare, it's either one or 2 things you can do. You can try to get out, and you can make the best of your time. So in the process, I wasn't gonna sit back and just keep saying, man, I ain't supposed to be here, I ain't supposed to be here. Because in all actuality, I was supposed to be there. I was selling drugs, I got caught with drugs. So I had to go to prison. It was my time. Stood 10 toes, you know what I'm saying, did me. Me and Doc, we was together for like about 6 months. Then they transferred him. But, I ended up at Lakeland Correctional facility. Man, that was like a fed joint in the state prison because it was so much, they had so much to offer, That's why I got in that food tech program.
Right. And exactly, that brings us to Lakeland Correction, and that's in Coldwater, Michigan. And that's where you met Chef Jimmy Hill.
That's my guy.
Right. So and we'll definitely get to that. Let's talk about, like, before you got in the program, you were in prison for like a year though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about like the time in prison before the program. Like how was prison like for that year before you actually got into the program?
It was prison. It was, hamster on the wheel, every day, same old thing. I got into the small business class because I wanted to know more about running an actual business. I got took some more little programs. Plus, I don't know. I ended up getting a picture sent in from my wedding, and I was looking like Professor Clump. I'm like, man, what the hell? So I started working out. Then I got a job in the kitchen. I really was just doing stuff to occupy my time. I was coaching, basketball. We was playing unit basketball, league basketball, so I was coaching, still coaching. It was just like, just find something to do so you don't get involved in other stuff that was going on. So that's what it was. Then I found my faith. Had to get back in line with that. And it was just like, before I knew it, it was almost over.
Right. So how did you end up getting a job? Because you had a job before you got into the program, right? Like, isn't that actually how you found out about it?
Yeah, I'm actually working. I'm in the kitchen.
Right.
I'm working in the child hall.
Okay.
And I'm going to punch my little time clock, and I see Chef Hill come through the back, looking like dog off hanging with Mr. Cooper. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm like, who's this guy coming? I'm thinking he, delivering, because the truck drivers come in, they drop off the stuff that's needed for the child hall. I'm thinking that's who that was. But they like, no, that's Chef Hill. I'm like, Chef Hill? I'm like, yeah. So he doing food tech. I said, what is food tech? I said, it's a cooking program. Well, you know what I'm saying? You know how to cook and stuff like that. I'm like, oh yeah, I get in that class. So I put in a kite, to see if I can get in the class, and he called me for an interview. And after the interview, I ended up getting in the class.
Okay, so like, what was the how did you like actually get in the class? Like, what was the interview like? Like, what did the interview consist of?
The interview consisted of, first of all, why you want to be in this class. You know what I'm saying? I told him I had a passion for cooking. And then it was more like, we got knives here. We got all kinds of objects here. You know, how is your temperament with other people? You know what I'm saying? Can you deal with other people? I'm like, yeah, I'm straight. I ain't tripping on none of that. He was like, yeah, it's easier said than done because some guys have, you know, different attitudes. And on different days, you know, he said, you know, you in prison, you know, everybody day ain't the same. You know, if somebody's having a bad day, how would you, you know, respond to it if, you know, the situation comes about? I'm like, if it's a situation I can get away from, I'm gonna get away from. Because at the end of the day, I gotta go home. You know what I'm saying? I ain't tripping on none of this stuff right here. They can have all this. I don't need nothing. You know what I'm saying? Thank God, thank family. I wasn't needing for nothing. So I'm like, I ain't really tripping on that. I'm like, okay. So well, we'll see. I'll give you a call or whatever. I'll send for you or whatever. So I ended up getting an itinerary to come to work. Come to class. It was a class. You know, it was a lot of book work, but it kept me busy. So I wasn't even tripping. And then in the process, once a week, every 2 weeks, we cooked for the staff. You know what I'm saying? And the first day I went to the class, when it was supposed to be a meal, the classroom had changed. It's going to look like a real restaurant, a whole restaurant. I'm like, man, I'm in the wrong place. And he was like, no, this is where you're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, oh, that was the class clothes for that day. You know what I'm saying? Chef jackets, nice whites. You know what I'm saying? Clean. So we served and started the dish tank. Then every like 3-month cycle, you end up somewhere else. Bakery, I learned how to bake. I learned about salads through the garden station. I learned about, you know, cooking, actually cooking in the galley, and, you know, so forth.
Okay. All right. So I want to ask you, at this point, like, once you're in the program and you know you're this is like you actually have like something to do like outside of just bid on a daily basis, like I would say like during my bid, like when I went on the inside and I got a job, had a job in the kitchen, washing clothes, washing cars. That's when like my bid significantly started to change, like for the better. So like, what was your experiences once you got inside the program? Like, how was prison then?
In that classroom, it wasn't prison.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When I was in food tech, it wasn't prison.
Right.
Because we listened to jazz. Every once in a while, you play some hip hop. You know, and then you just vibe. It's a whole different vibe. You can see the gates. The gates probably like 20 yards away, maybe probably longer than that. But in the back, it was a big picture window that I used to sit at this table and look out this picture window. I'm just sitting there one day daydreaming, and I see a hummingbird come through. A hummingbird? I heard about him, but I actually seen a hummingbird. That's just how peaceful it was in that classroom, because he had these nectar things that hummingbirds fly up and drink from. Then you got this big old garden, and the garden looked like a football field. They got everything, man. You can go out there, you pick fresh stuff. That farm to table thing, it was real right there. That's the first time I ever experienced it. Because outside of going to pick the greens from around my backyard, you know what I'm saying? But to go and actually pick some peppers and prepare stuffed peppers or something like that, it was just, man, picking fresh herbs, learning the different flavors, you know, combinations and all that stuff. It was a beautiful thing. So that's from 8 till 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock, it's time to go back to the unit. They blowing the horn. Now you know you're back in prison, because now you got to go back to the reality of it. So yeah, it was cool. And then it was sometime like Thanksgiving, my first Thanksgiving in there. Man, we did a real Thanksgiving spread. We had dressing, greens, macaroni and cheese, turkey, ham, dinner rolls, all kinds of cakes and pies. Sound like baby eat cakes and pies, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a bad.
Man, I'm like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? This was all in prison. When I tell guys, man, they're like, man, y'all want to eat that? I say, bro, my man used to literally, like, if we did a seafood, like, man, I remember one day he spent $700 on sea bass.
Right.
They flew him in that morning. You know what I'm saying? We had a meal that Thursday. The sea bass came in that morning from Chicago.
Right. So yeah, at this point, it don't even feel like you on the inside. Like when you in the program. At this point, it's like how did you handle? Because it sounds like it was like maybe a totally different campus. It was like a off campus type program. Like you say, it was 20 yards outside the gates or something like that.
The classroom was 20 yards from the perimeter gate on that side.
Right.
But
Okay.
we were still inside the gate.
Still inside. Oh, okay.
We were still on the compound, but it was just like the food tech program was inside the control center.
Oh, okay. All right. So how did you handle when you would leave the program going back to
Study.
life inside the gate?
Study.
That's what's up.
You know what I'm saying? I studied, the other sauces. I studied Asian cuisine. I studied Italian cuisine. I just flooded myself with all that. I stayed in my good book. Stayed, rooted. And then like I say, sometimes they have activities. We had a rap group in there. It was called the All-Star Units.
Okay.
Yeah. We used to do concerts. They gave us concerts. We had rap concerts. Sometime in the gym, sometime on the yard. Man, it used to be jumping.
Did you guys ever have talent shows?
Not really talent shows, but it was just like concerts.
Okay.
We did Kwanzaa, so we did people's do poems. People would rap. It just was. That was our thing to get back. You know what I'm saying? So that was their way of letting us get some steam off, I guess. You know what I'm saying? As long as everything remained calm, no violence, then they keep letting us do it. So.
Right, and that kind of brings me to my next question. Like, in the program, like I know you said you used to study a lot when you got back to the compound and stuff like that. So, like, tell me about some of the stuff that you did learn in the program, and how did it differentiate from what you already knew about the kitchen?
Well, it was different because I didn't know nothing about sauces and like exotic spices and all that stuff. I knew how to fry chicken. I knew how to barbecue. I knew how to smother something, but I didn't know how to cook with and touch the whole flavor palette. I didn't know how to put this spice with that. I didn't know that you can make a sauce out of apple and put it over a salmon or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just so much stuff I learned. Plus, it taught you a lot of business. You can ride past. You can go to a restaurant and then food will be good. You know what I'm saying? Everything will be straight. Then you'll go back 6 months later and it'll be shut down because they didn't know how to maintain the business part of it. There's just little simple things as portion control. I learned that. Where the streets taught me so much. It's so easy to adapt to other things because of everything I learned in the streets.
Facts.
And it all kind of went hand to hand.
Facts. So even up on your release, like, how did you, like, what was the process when you were starting to gear up towards your release? Cause in this program, you have a mentor, you have someone there to kind of coach you up on a daily basis. You got you have your comfort zone. So up on your release, like, what was the process in the preparation with that? Like, was it easy, hard? How'd that go?
The adjustment is all you.
Right.
And then we can go back to the coaching. If I see a kid, if I see the opponents, if I'm coaching defense, I see the opponents, they're doing something, I'm picking up on their cadence. They say ice, they're not going on one, they're going on two. So now I can see this. So in the same process with life, if I see that, things changed from 7 years ago, which a lot changed. Now I know how to deal with it a little bit because I'm looking at it all. I'm like always paying attention to stuff. So it was kind of easy, but as far as him being a mentor, you know how when you get out of prison, you can't even communicate with nobody. You know what I'm saying? As far as the Department of Correction that work for him, because they say it's over familiarity. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like I only had a year. They only gave me a year parole. So before the year was up, though, we actually did something for the Department of Correction. It was something for the classes, all the classes and the programs in the Department of Corrections. He was down at the Renaissance, Chef Hill. And he shot me a holler. He said, man, you want to do this presentation with me? I'm like, man, I'm still on parole. He was like, don't worry about it. They said it's okay. I said, what we doing? He said, yeah, we're doing something for the program down at the Renaissance. I'm like, I'm there, you know? So that was like the first step, bridging the gap. And it's crazy because not everybody trying to get everybody to bring drugs into prison. You know what I'm saying? You can find a genuine relationship, male or female, you know what I'm saying, with a counselor or a teacher. And it don't mean you trying to trick them into bringing drugs. See, that's how the state thinks. The state think that just because you might get comfortable with somebody, y'all might, kick it for a minute. They thinking you trying as a prisoner to manipulate them to bring some drugs or, just do any type of thing. Sex, if it's a female, they trying to think you trying to get sex out of female. Right. There's some gay guys in there, so gay guys might have been trying to get sex out of the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying?
It's a lot of corruption, and they kind of think like that's all it is. If I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, that's what they looking at it like you're a criminal.
Right.
And you're thinking like a criminal at all times.
Exactly. Right. So yeah, when you got out of prison, when you were actually paroled, did you initially because I know you had a plan when you got home.
Right.
So did was working for someone a part of your plan, or did you already always have it set in your head like, when I get home, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I'm going to be self-employed?
That was down the line. That was like 3 years down the line.
Okay, so when you first got home,
I wanted the kitchen experience, because the closest to the kitchen experience, the actual full speed, man, it's different in that kitchen, man. When it's full speed, when you got 20 people come in, and then, I was a saute chef when I first came home for the 24 grill down in the Brook Cadillac. So it's different from when you cooking casually in your own kitchen or your own crib. So I wanted that experience because I knew I wanted to own my own restaurant or catering business or a food truck or something like that. So I wanted to get out and get in a space where I can experience that before I jumped into it.